Yes, sir! It's halftime on San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN AM 1250, 94.5 FM. We're on the go at sasportstar.com, and we're on the move tomorrow. We'll be at 103.3 FM, so change your presets already. Again, tomorrow, ESPN San Antonio goes to San Antonio Sports Star, goes to 103.3 FM. My name's Michael Jimenez, your host from noon to 2. Sports, pop culture, and nostalgia. Producing the show today, James Pledger. What's going on, my man?
What's happening, Mike?
Well, we're on Facebook and YouTube right now. We're live, so you can search San Antonio Sports Star, like and subscribe, follow along, watch the show, leave a comment or two. But on here, I have my Twitter handle, at MikeESPNSA, and yours says time and place, Mike. What does that mean?
Well, last night, during an epic conclusion to a great championship round of football, you and Carl Schoening decide to barge into our WhatsApp as the Rams are mounting a comeback late in the fourth quarter and just talking nonsense about the Spurs.
Dude, the Spurs were on, baby. Multitask.
Yeah. No, time and place, Mike. There was a phenomenal ending to a great end of a championship day of football, and you're telling me about the 10-win Spurs and how they're hanging in with the Suns. I don't care at that point.
I had already had enough football for the day because the Bengals took out the Kansas City Chiefs in an epic game in overtime. Joe Burrow, we're going to get into this, obviously, both games, but man, I'm in love with Joe Burrow, and if you are watching on Facebook or YouTube right now, you'll see I'm wearing an LSU polo in honor of Joe Burrow. I can wear this polo because my daughter attends LSU, so I'm an LSU dad. And yes, we spell Burrow in the Jimenez household, Burreaux. But man, what a great game. I'm so proud of Joe Burrow. I'm so proud of the Bengals because I've been calling this since November, saying that the sneaky team in the AFC, if you've been listening to halftime, the sneaky team in the AFC was going to be the Cincinnati Bengals because I liked how the team was put together. So obviously we're going to talk about both of those games.
You also said you'd take Ja Morant over DeJounte Murray, or DeJounte Murray over Ja Morant. So, let's both sides of the coin.
Okay, different sport, but
both sides of the coin.
I appreciate it. Different sport. But let's talk about that a little bit. At 12:30, man, I never say this because I'm a former high school basketball official, so I don't like criticizing basketball officials. But man, the refs screwed over the Spurs last night, big time in Phoenix. The Spurs should have upset the Suns. No. It's one thing to miss a call. It's another thing to miss two calls on the same play within a second of each other. Spurs got screwed over, but we'll be talking about that with Jeff Garcia from Locked On Spurs and Ken's Five. He'll join us at 12:30. And at 1:30, we have a special guest, an Academy Award winner. Halftime has an Oscar winner coming in. He's also a former NFL player named Ed Cunningham. He's going to join us to talk about all things sports. He did a thing about chess boxing, which I had never heard of before, had to YouTube that. We'll get into that at 1:30. But again, halftime goes till 2 o'clock. Sports, pop culture, and nostalgia. But man, last night, those two games, the divisional games were epic, right? We were treated to 4 epic games, and I thought there's no way in the world that the AFC Championship game or the NFC Championship game would compare to those games, the divisional games. Not a chance. But man, we were treated to 2 wonderful games yesterday. Now we know who's going to be going to the Super Bowl. It's going to be the Cincinnati Bengals against the Los Angeles Rams. Who would have thought? Who would have thought? But man, I tell you what, I don't know if it was the Bengals that beat the Chiefs last night or if it was Patrick Mahomes' own arrogance. Now, you mentioned WhatsApp. WhatsApp is, basically a group text that we do. Me, Pledge, we're on it along with Rudy J and Joe Reinagle and Minix and all of us, right? And I kept on saying, this is complete arrogance by Patrick Mahomes. That is why they lost. They were an arrogant team. Now, again, there's a fine line between being swag, cocky, and arrogant. Those are 3 different things. And we saw Joe Burrow walk into the stadium looking like complete swag. And he's out there and he's a little bit cocky when he plays. Good. There's nothing wrong with having swag, nothing wrong with being a little cocky. But when you get into arrogance, it starts to affect what's going on the field. And we saw that last night when it came to the Chiefs. The Chiefs got out to a 21-3 lead. And I know you're shaking your head, Pledger, because you do not agree with me on this. But the fact of the matter is, they were up 21-3, back-to-back touchdown drives. It was looking like the Bengals were toast. And what happens? What happens? The Bengals get an opportunistic 42-yard touchdown by P. Ryan, right? That nice little screen pass right there. Takes it to the house. And the Chiefs are now driving again, up 21-10, inside the 5-yard line. And what does Mahomes do? Mahomes throws a pass, not to the end zone. They were out of timeouts. Didn't throw it into the end zone. Threw it out into the flat. Receiver got tackled. Time ran out. They took points off the board. And that right there is complete arrogance. Complete arrogance. You play to score points, man. And they took points off the board. And everyone was like going on Twitter afterwards. Oh, not a big deal. No, I mean, it's 21-10. They've been running up and down the field. Not a big deal. The Chiefs get the ball to start the second half. Not a big deal. But man, complete, absolute arrogance. They left points on the board, and those points cost them because the Bengals came back. They are a third quarter team. The Bengals are a third quarter team and showed it, came back, tied it going into the fourth. Evan McPherson, 52-yard field goal to tie the game. I mean, to take the lead. Chiefs tie the game, goes to overtime, and man, everyone was like, oh, here come the overtime rules. Here comes the overtime rules. You know, the Chiefs get the ball first. They're going to score a touchdown. The game's going to be over. Joe Burrow will never touch the ball again. This is all I kept on hearing, all I kept on reading. And what happens? Interception. Bengals get the ball, and Burrow leads the Bengals down the field. And here's how it ended. Evan McPherson going for the game-winning kick.
McPherson, and Cincinnati is heading to the Super Bowl. He called it again, I'm sure. He walked up and he goes, "Can you believe, Coach? We're going to the Super Bowl." And they did it. They beat Mahomes at home. Wow, Joe Burrow. No way. Only two quarterbacks have won an FBS national title game and a Super Bowl, and that's Joe Namath and Joe Montana, and Joe Burrow's trying to be the third. From 18 down.
Evan McPherson, also with swag. So again, we have Burrow with swag. We have Jamar Chase with swag. We've got Mixon. We've got McPherson. But what we had on the Kansas City side was complete arrogance, and you've been shaking your head. State your case.
Yes, that's exactly who they've always been. That's the same team that we've lauded for doing things outside the box and going for the jugular and throwing it into the flat and scoring before half because they put up points. It's only arrogance when it doesn't work. When it works like it always has, or like in that final sequence when they were inside the 5 and ended up having to settle for a 40-something yard field goal. Yeah, it's arrogance, but it's something we've seen them do 30,000 times between Patrick Mahomes' rookie year and now, and we've lauded the guy for it, of how he changes games.
Completely disagree, because I've never seen him not throw the ball into the end zone when it needs to be thrown into the end zone. And you're right. He has Mahomes from time to time, several times, been running around trying to avoid the tacklers, avoid a sack, right? But ultimately, he either gets away or throws the ball away. Very rarely does he get sacked and lose yardage.
But he does, because that's the way he plays, Michael.
But he did it against Tampa Bay last year in the Super Bowl, did it again yesterday, and it cost him points, man. These are fundamentals. Like, you're basically saying that his arrogance trumps fundamentals. The fundamentals of the game is when you snap the ball with 5 or 6 seconds to go, you either A, throw it into the end zone, or B, throw it away.
Then stop praising him when it works. The same way we need to stop praising Steph Curry for hitting half-court shots when he walks. Like, it works more than it doesn't for him. So he's allowed to get away with things like that. When it doesn't work, that's the aberration. And yesterday was the aberration. Plain and simple.
What wasn't the aberration was the fact that the Bengals beat the Chiefs twice in a month.
Yes.
It wasn't an aberration. That game was not Cincinnati being lucky. That game was not have anything to do with the fact that the Chiefs folded. I think the Chiefs had every chance in the world to win that game, and they should have won that game. But when they offered it on a plate to the Bengals took it. And Joe Burrow, man, talk about stones on that guy. That is a player that I want to have on my team at all times. And I've been talking about him a lot since November because that guy, I looked at that team and I said, man, they have an elite quarterback. And yes, I'm using the word elite when it comes to Burrow. I mean, Burrow put up over 400 yards passing against these same Chiefs earlier this month, right? They have a running back who was third in the league in rushing. They have a trio of receivers, including Jamar Chase, who's second in yards. An excellent offense. They have a kicker that is just super clutch, a rookie, but super clutch. And they have a defense that bends but doesn't break. I like this Bengals team. And man, watching that game yesterday, again, I use the word arrogance to describe Patrick Mahomes because he took points off the board. And he should know better, man. There's a time and a place. You call time and place, Mike, right? There's a time and a place to be doing that type of stuff, to be doing those types of plays. And that was not the time, and that was not the place. You don't do that on the last play of the first half. You don't do that when you're trying to drive for the go-ahead touchdown to get to the Super Bowl. Time and place is absolutely correct, and Mahomes is wrong with that. But the great thing about it is we don't get to see his brother on TikTok this week. That's the best part of it. We'll talk about that a little bit later. But who are the Bengals going to play? They're going to play the Rams, baby. Matthew Stafford and the Rams. Another comeback. It was looking like it was all going to be about the Niners. They played at SoFi. The Niners won at LA just a few weeks before to earn their way into the playoffs. SoFi, which was lit up red because there were more Rams fans there. More Niners fans there than Rams fans. You take a look at that game, man, the Niners pretty much controlled the first 3 quarters, up by double digits going into the fourth quarter, and the Rams came back to win that game. Pledge, did you think at any point the Rams were going to come back to win that game?
Yeah. I absolutely did. I've been saying it all week long. It's really hard to beat a team 3 times in a season. It's even harder to beat them 7 straight times overall. And eventually, the more talented team is going to win out. And if you look at the 2 rosters, the Rams are easily the more talented team.
No, I agree with you on that. All points right there. It is difficult to beat a team 3 times in a season. It is difficult to beat a team 3 times, especially when you're not as talented as the other team. But everything was going the Niners' way. They were up 17-7, essentially a home game. Yeah, they were playing at SoFi, and that is the home of the Rams. But again, more Niner fans out there than Rams fans, so it was kind of a quasi-home game. They had won there before. It was kind of a choke job, to be honest with you, man. It kind of was. That game, I thought, was a little bit more of a choke than what the Chiefs did. But, man, taking a look at that, Matthew Stafford, we have been following Matthew Stafford for more than a decade when he was quarterbacking for the Detroit Lions, losing season after losing season after losing season. Yesterday was the 1-year anniversary of him agreeing to go to the LA Rams. And the Rams, man, they put all their chips in the middle of the table. They were all in this year with who they picked up, free agent moves, things that they did in the middle of the season. Odell Beckham Jr., who, by the way, apparently isn't as bad as we thought he was, right? I mean, maybe that's all Baker Mayfield's fault, but man, the Rams were out there doing a fantastic job. They put all their chips in the middle of the table because it was looking more and more like this was going to be a 1 or 2 year window for the Rams because, I mean, they have salary cap issues. They took on a lot of salaries. They had a lot of things going on. They traded picks, but man, that Rams, looking at Matthew Stafford go out there after over a decade of losing was fun to watch. I'm not asking you who you think is going to win, but right now, if you had to say who would you want to win, who would it be right now?
Want Bengals. Think Rams.
You know, I want It's so hard to cheer against Matthew Stafford because, Matthew Stafford, I mean, he was in purgatory over there with the Lions. The same purgatory that had Barry Sanders, the same purgatory that had Calvin Johnson. And as much as I respect Matthew Stafford, I have a hard time believing that he's going to lead them to glory. He kind of already has and taken them to the Super Bowl. But I look on the other side, I see Joe Burrow, and Joe Burrow, the dude is just a winner, and winners win. And taking a look at that matchup, it's going to be so much fun. I sent a text out to you guys, probably on the WhatsApp. No, actually, I sent this to Brandon Medina because we talk about spreads a lot. And I reached out to him and I said, I think that if the Rams play the Bengals, the Rams are probably going to be favored by 3.5, and that's exactly what the morning line open line is for the Super Bowl. Rams by 3.5, which is weird because it's a home game. It's a home game, but lots of good subplots in this game, man. One of my favorite subplots of the Super Bowl coming up, Super Bowl 56, is that this is the first time there's going to be a Super Bowl where both teams are coached by somebody under the age of 40. Sean McVay is 36 years old, and Taylor, the coach of the Bengals, is only 38 years old. That's absolutely amazing. It's also the first time that you're going to have two stud receivers in the game, in the sense that you have the number 1 and number 2 wide receiver when it comes to yards, including the postseason. So you have Cooper Kupp going against Jamar Chase. It's also a battle of number 1 draft picks. Matthew Stafford was a number 1 draft pick, and Joe Burrow was the number 1 draft pick. You also have the subplot of Joe Burrow trying to become the third quarterback to win the national title in college and win a Super Bowl. The other two also named Joe Namath and Joe Montana. And Joe Burrow is trying to be the third quarterback to do that. So many subplots in this game. Can you imagine if Evan McPherson kicks the game-winning field goal and he's a rookie out there doing that? I absolutely love this matchup. And I know a lot of fans out there were hoping for other teams. They were hoping for, Aaron Rodgers and the Packers, or Mahomes and the Chiefs, or, Josh Allen and the Bills. But this game right here is super exciting. I don't care. People are going to watch this game regardless. It doesn't matter what the ratings are. The ratings will be there simply because it is a Super Bowl, and that is an American tradition. And we have subplots here. We have a lot of them out there. But we'll be talking more about the Super Bowl in the 1 o'clock hour. Let's get some headlines in. Here's Pleasure with the 411 in the 210.
Here's the 411 in the 210. Headline 2.
We'll start things off with some coaching news as the Las Vegas Raiders are implementing the Patriot way, it seems, as they hired both Patriots offensive coordinator Josh McDaniels to be their next head coach and Patriots director of player personnel Dave Ziegler to be their new general manager.
Interesting. McDaniels has been considered to be a head coaching prospect for many, many years, the past few years. I know a lot of people are a little bit intrigued by this because, again, it's the Patriots way. I question why the Raiders interim coach was not promoted to head coach. I mean, that was a dumpster fire of a franchise. You had players who were charged with felonies. You had one that was arrested. What was that charge? It was like felony manslaughter or whatever that was for the DUI accident. You had all sorts of things going on within the Raiders organization, and they still made the playoffs. I thought that interim coach had done everything that he could have done to get the main gig, but he got passed over on this. Josh McDaniels, though, man, I mean, it's kind of hard to go against it, though, man. The guy has a reputation, and he has winning behind him.
They have a big decision to make as Derek Carr is going into the final year of his deal, although reports are Josh McDaniels has always liked Carr, and the Patriots even considered trying a trade for the veteran signal caller last offseason. This, according to Ian Rappaport.
Wow. It's interesting because what you're seeing here is that it's an alignment between the GM and the coaches, and that's why certain coaches don't get promoted. That's why Eric Bieniemy doesn't get promoted. It's because it's you have these GMs who have their guys, and they're not willing to entertain the idea of hiring somebody new. They would much rather hire somebody that they know before, that either they can control or be on the same page with.
What does it say about Bieniemy that Ryan Poles became the Bears GM and didn't even get an interview there?
I have no idea, man. It's so weird.
Bieniemy and Poles know each other very well from their days in Kansas City together.
I mean, what is it about this guy? I mean, is there something in his background that we don't know about that's hidden? Is there like some sort of secret going on there? Because you would think that he would be given the opportunity, or at least the interviewing at every spot. At every spot. Bieniemy, is it one of those things where people think that he's just a puppet for Andy Reid?
Well, Matt Nagy, Doug Peterson. I mean, there's been a lot of fruit that's shaken out of the Andy Reid tree that hasn't panned out.
I know.
And people still go to those trees.
And they always say, oh, well, he probably doesn't interview well. What does that mean? I mean, he has... You can look and see what his team is doing. Do you need to have a good, quote-unquote, good interview? I mean, what is he doing out there? It's a little bit strange. Bieniemy, there was 9 spots that were open. I'd be very disappointed if Bieniemy doesn't get one of them. I take him with the Saints.
Another NFL head coaching vacancy filled over the weekend as the New York Giants hired Bills offensive coordinator Brian Daboll to be their next head coach. He had been with Buffalo since 2018, overseeing the likes of Josh Allen, and he reunites with new Giants general manager Joe Shane, who was with the Bills as the assistant general manager there before taking over for Dave Gettleman.
They're coming as packages, but I really, really do like this hire. I mean, come on, man. I mean, it's one of those questions that you have. Was Josh Allen as good as he was, or did he get developed in Buffalo? Okay, obviously he was talented in college. Did he get trained up better in Buffalo? Because, again, the Giants have a quarterback there that needs help, that is struggling. But there's so much going on with the Giants that needs to be done. I mean, they need a new offensive line. They need weapons at receiver. They need Saquon Barkley, is he going to be healthy? There's a lot going on with the Giants, but they're going to be a struggling team for quite a while.
Headline 0.
You want to finish a trifecta of coaching news?
Tell me.
Is that no?
Sure.
I've got other headlines.
All right.
I was just going to let you know that Michigan Wolverines head coach Jim Harbaugh is being pursued, and there is some interest the other way as well from him with the Minnesota Vikings. This according to Pro Football Talks' Mike Florio. Harbaugh is actually familiar with new Vikings general manager Kwesi Adolfo-Mensah, as they were both together during their time in San Francisco.
I don't know what to think about this one, man. I don't like college coaches going to the NFL. It just hasn't worked doesn't work very often. I mean, Jimmy Johnson worked back in the day.
Jim Harbaugh is an NFL coach that went to college.
I know, but
who played in and also coached in and won
I
Super
understand
Bowls.
that it's not an Urban Meyer situation. It's a little bit different. I get that. But, I mean, I consider more of a college coach than I do an NFL coach.
Why?
I don't know, man. When I see Jim Harbaugh, I still picture him in blue and gold. That's just the way that I picture him.
But the khakis, that was a thing dating back to the 49ers. And he had a long run with both Alex Smith and Colin Kaepernick, where the San Francisco 49ers under Trent Baalke were really, really good for an extended period of time.
It's interesting to see Minnesota, man, because he has some weapons there. That was an underachieving team this year. But, I mean, with Justin Jefferson out there, Dalvin Cook, Alexander Madison, he has something to work with on the offensive side. So it might work, but it's just one of those things where I'd much rather them go after somebody who's already in the NFL.
Well, remember, Jim's brother John stole his defensive coordinator, which was part of the reason that Michigan was so good this year is because of their defense. So he may be thinking it's time. If I want to go back to the NFL, now is the time.
All right, I can buy that.
That's the 411 and a 210.
Man, I feel bad for Adam Schefter. Pledge. I mean, come on, man. When that whole thing went down, where Shefty tweeted out there that Tom Brady had retired, I mean, that is set in stone, right? I mean, that is accurate. I have never seen anything from Adam Schefter ever be false. And can you imagine it be for the first time him getting something wrong, something this big, saying that Tom Brady had announced his retirement or was going to retire based on multiple sources, and then for it a few hours later to come back and hear from his father, from Brady's father and Brady's agent going, "What are you talking about? He hasn't even made up his mind yet."
Here's the thing. Adam Schefter's been wrong before. He has. And so is Adrian Wojcicki. Every insider is wrong at some point.
But you can't be wrong about this one, though. This is the one you don't get wrong. I mean, I get it. We're all human, right? And we have bad information, sometimes bad sources. And he did say on that tweet that it was multiple sources that told him that Brady was going to retire. So I can see why he'd want to rush out to get it.
Here's the thing. He's not wrong yet.
He isn't wrong yet, but the fact of the matter is that it's still up in the air.
Sure.
And it'd be so funny to see Brady out there playing another season out of spite. But man, no.
I'd absolutely love to see Brady play a season out of spite, because when Brady's playing out of spite,
he plays well.
He plays very well.
Very nice. Hey, speaking of playing very well, man, the Spurs played exceptionally well, shorthanded last night against the Suns. Man, they got screwed over by the refs. And we're going to talk to Jeff Garcia on the other side. From Locked On Spurs and Ken's 5, we're talking Spurs and more Super Bowl coverage when we come back at 1 o'clock. But man, this is halftime on San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN AM 1250 and 94.5 FM.
It's time to get your hoops on. The NBA season is off to a fast start. North, south, east, west.
Step back for three. Bang, got it.
The courts are firing with board busting and rim wrecking in your face balling.
Deep three straight away. Oh, he got another one.
And we got it all covered. Everything a fan like you wants, and then some.
Hammers a right-hand dunk.
Get the latest on your game on San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN 1250 and 94.5 FM.
You probably wouldn't leave thousands of dollars on the table at a diner. Why leave thousands on the table with your tax return? Jackson Hewitt will help make sure you don't. This year, there are thousands of dollars worth of new tax credits. Your Jackson Hewitt Tax Pro will help you track down every last one, so you get your biggest refund guaranteed. Don't leave thousands on the table this year. Discover thousands of dollars in tax credits instead. Learn more at jacksonhewitt.com.
We will buy no used car before it's time. We will pay the top money because we know exactly what we're doing at GiveMeTheVin.com. We've bought $1 billion with a B of used cars from you guys in 2021 already, because this used car market's on fire. $1 billion in volume. We're paying so much it's scary. Only at GiveMeTheVin.com.
Sell us your car. GiveMeTheVin.com. So easy you can do it in your underwear.
Before we rodeo San Antonio, mosey on over to Dietz Tractor. We're busting out of the chutes early with a stock full of LS tractors. And this is no 8-second ride. Take your time and choose from a field that includes compact and utility tractors at low prices. Excel in your field with LS Tractor, 7-time winner of the EDA Dealer's Choice Award. Backed by a limited 6-year warranty, LS Tractors will give you more standard features and more performance for less money. These are some of the hottest tractors around, and Dietz Tractor wants to sell them to you today at unbelievable prices. Dietz Tractor, where you get more tractor for less.
Gentlemen, now you can find the best brands and fits for you without even trying. Just follow these easy instructions. Step 1, shop a personalized store that does all the work for you by customizing a selection for your taste and body. Step 2, level up your closet with the best brands and fits with little to no effort. Not trying has never looked so good. Introducing Stitch Fix Freestyle, your personalized store. We're so you.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
My name is Kelly. I want to tell you about Dr. Jacob Torres and Institute for Functional Health. I met Dr. Torres years ago. I was gaining that middle-aged bulge, feeling less energetic, and I had aches and pains in my back and shoulder. My cholesterol, blood sugar, and other measurable numbers were okay, but not good. My cardiologist suggested if I did not change my habits, I may need to start taking pills to manage my health. I was not looking forward to spending Sunday evenings counting up my pills for the week. I phoned Institute for Functional Health to set an appointment with Dr. Torres. Over the next few weeks, Dr. Torres totally changed my life. I do not take medicines. I lost over 40 pounds, and my weight has remained amazingly consistent. Most importantly, I feel great. Dr. Torres is my hero. He changed my life.
We can visit with you over the phone and virtually. We work with your insurance company, and it costs you nothing to call and consult with us. I'm Dr. Torres at the Institute for Functional Health. Call me for a free consultation over the phone, 468-1891, 468-1891.
Hi, Ghostbusting Ernie Hudson here. Thomas J. Henry asked me to say a few words about distracted driving. Next time you're driving, who are you going to text or call? Nobody, I hope. If you care about your life and the lives of others, you will not cross those streams. Using your phone while driving is extremely dangerous. Sadly, thousands of lives are needlessly lost every year. So if you don't want to become a Texas roadway statistic, please put your phone down. Don't talk, don't text, just drive. Thank you.
Join up the game plan for the second half of the day. It's halftime with Michael Jimenez on San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN 1250 and 94.5 FM.
Upload a photo of what's on your grill and enter description and recipe at sasportstar.com, and you can win a $50 gift card to Tri-County Meat Market, winner chosen every Thursday at 6 on the Blitz. Welcome back to halftime on San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN AM 1250 and 94.5. Tomorrow, we move from 94.5 to 103.3 FM, so set your presets, and we'll see you there. My name's Michael Jimenez, joined by James Pledger. This is halftime. We talk sports, pop culture, and nostalgia. Spurs last night dropped a heartbreaker to the Phoenix Suns, 115 to 110. Spurs were big-time shorthanded going into this game, and they played well Friday night against the Chicago Bulls, beat the living crap out of the Bulls, ran them out of the gym. And when they played the Suns last night, I was thinking to myself, no way in the world Spurs are going to win this game because they were without DeJounte Murray, without Derek White. Jakob Poeltl did not play, and Keita Bates-Diop was also out. But man, Spurs hung tight, lost the game 115 to 110. I'm going to be honest with you. I thought the Spurs got screwed over at the end because the Spurs were up by a couple of points. And Devin Booker did this one play where he essentially flipped over. He rolled onto the ground, picked up the ball with two hands, and it was either going to be a travel or it was going to be a double dribble. And neither was called. Absolutely none of these were called. Hey, Pledge, do we got Jeff Garcia ready to go? Jeff Garcia from Locked On Spurs and Ken's 5 is going to join us right now to talk about the Spurs. But last night, again, the Spurs did not have DeJounte, Derek White, or Jakob Poeltl. But man, look who filled in. Doug McDermott, 24 points in 28 minutes, shot 9 for 15, 6 for 9 from 3. Keldon Johnson played 39 minutes, 16 points, 6 for 16 shooting. Trey Jones, though, man, he filled in very well for Derek White. 7 for 12 shooting, 15 points. Vassell had an off night, only 7 points for Vassell, but Lonnie Walker did well, 22 points. Spurs lose this game 115 to 110, dropped to 19 and 32 for the year, 9 and 16 on the road. But it was interesting because on that play that I was talking about where the Spurs got screwed over, Devin Booker was trying to drive in. Spurs were up by 2 with about 2 minutes to go. Devin Booker kind of flips over. He loses control. Defensively, he was defended very well. Flips over, rolls onto the ground multiple times, and they did not call anything for that. And they awarded the Suns a timeout, which was just ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous that they did that. They bring the ball in again. Devin Booker knocks down a 3. Next possession, knocks down another 3. They go up and never look back. And I tell you what, the Spurs would have won that game if a travel had been called. I'm not the kind of guy who thinks that, oh, we got screwed over or anything like that. I hate it when people accuse the officials of being biased or whatever the case may be. But that call, that no call right there was atrocious. And Jeff Garcia from Locked On Spurs and Ken's 5 is here. Man, when you saw that Devin Booker play, because right now, Pledger is rolling his eyes right now. I don't know if he saw that play or not. But
I agree with Pledger.
You agree with
I can say it
Pledger?
right now.
Huh?
Yeah. I don't buy it. The Spurs had every opportunity to win this.
No, I get that. I get that. But was that not a terrible non-call?
Well, sure, it was a non-call, but I'm pretty sure there's a lot of non-calls that don't go, they go against the opposition on the Spurs side. Oh, I don't know, since the Tim Duncan days, maybe, even the Kawhi Leonard days. I mean, look, this is just
Jeff.
This happens.
Jeff. He flipped over. He did a barrel roll. He flipped over and rolled around like a fish twice, and they called nothing.
Hey, James, how many times did Tim Duncan open his eyes and never did a foul? Remember those days?
Mm-hmm.
Dude, this was something where everyone knew that this was a
You can get a stop after they get the ball back there instead of turning the ball over twice in two consecutive possessions.
Turnover too late in the game.
And Trey Jones.
Oh my
goodness.
goodness.
And Trey Jones.
It all snowballed from here, man.
No, they still had every opportunity to win this.
They did.
I'm watching the game, Jimenez. I was this close to texting you to being like, I know you're going to go with the foul call. I know you're going to go there with the foul calls. I said, Jimenez is probably watching this game. He's going to text me any second now and say, Jeff, these fouls. And I was about to fire back and say, no.
This wasn't a foul. It was a violation. This is the equivalent of taking dude, he took 6 steps, man. That's what that is. Every time you roll over, that's 2 steps. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
He took 1-2 steps, defended very well. He was expecting to make contact with a defender. There was no contact there. He lost control of himself, flipped over, rolled over twice, picked up the ball again. Well, I mean, come on, travel, double dribble. I mean, what do you want to call? It's something. Everyone stopped. It was so bad. Everyone stopped.
This feels like in a few minutes or a few hours, we're going to get the 2-minute report and be like, okay, great. It should have been called.
Oh, yeah.
About it now.
Yeah, dude.
There's nothing we can do about it now. There's nothing to do about it. This is the young Spurs team. They made the mistake down the stretch, and they like I said, they had opportunity. They did.
I'll drop it. But here's the thing, though. I have refereed, little kids. I referee high school varsity and stuff like that. But I've refereed little kids before where you let them play because they don't know the rules and they can take 4, 5, 6 steps. This is the NBA, and they allowed him to get away with that. I will now drop it, but it was awful.
Here's the thing.
It was awful.
Why are you so mad about this?
Because
they got a loss.
No.
What happened, Jimenez?
Yeah. What happened?
Okay. I am the captain of team.
He is captain of Flip Flop University. That's what he's captain of.
I am the captain of Team Tank. However, the caveat in all this is if I see Primo out there playing 28 minutes, and if I see Trey Jones out there playing 33 minutes, and they win, and I'm perfectly happy with that. I want those guys out there. So it's one of those things where if the Spurs are going to be playing players like Derek White 35 minutes a game, which I'm not a big fan of, it's just one of those things, man. I wanted to see Primo get that win. He was playing so well, and he was even playing defense yesterday. It was disappointing. I wanted to see Primo get that win.
Look, they'll get their shot tomorrow. They'll get a shot against the Warriors. So maybe he'll come back.
Oh, against the Warriors.
Around to you, Jimenez.
Against the Warriors. Speaking of the Warriors, that is the movie that I'll be doing this Wednesday rather. And all I know about the Warriors,
I told him it's just he called me about this. He said, Jeff, I'm going to be looking at the Warriors, and I said, just think West Side Story, but with gangs.
Okay, I'm like, what's West Side Story? I don't know what that is, man. So all I know about the Warriors is come out and play. I know that.
You're definitely gonna like that scene, but no, you're gonna have fun. You're gonna have fun. I still think you. Wait, have you seen Blood and Blood? I'm not Blood. I'm sorry, Bloodsport yet?
No.
Oh, you should have seen that first before the Warriors.
Jonathan C. on YouTube reaches out. Michael Jimenez, the University of Flip Flop. Hey man, no. I have said that if the Spurs are winning and Primo's out there, the Spurs are winning and Trey Jones is out there and Keldon's rocking it and Devin Vassell and the young guys are out there doing it, great. What I did not want to see was Bryn Forbes out there. Glad that he's gone. I didn't want to see Derek White throwing up 6 3-pointers a game and making only 29%. I did not want to see that. But yesterday's game, I would have loved to have seen the Spurs win that game because Primo was out there balling, man. He was doing well. And now, don't get me wrong, I only saw a little bit more than a quarter of the game because there was football to be had, but it was exciting. I was like, I flipped the channel. I was like, oh my God. And then Pledge gets all mad because he's like, dude, time and place, man. We're watching football right now, and you're watching basketball. Now, Jeff, were you watching the game last night, or were you going back and forth between the football games?
I was split between basketball, man, Austin Spurs and the San Antonio Spurs. But I was peeking into the NFL game.
Here's the difference.
But
Jeff Garcia wasn't blowing up my messages during the middle of the football game to tell me about the basketball
The
game.
WhatsApp is our messages, not your messages. Okay, let's get that straight.
Oh, look at that.
Hey,
I'm pretty sure the entirety of the group, excluding you and Carl, was all mad at the exact same thing y'all were doing. So our group was mad at
Carl
you.
loved me yesterday because we were talking Spurs.
Well,
but
then text Carl.
now,
there you go.
now,
Thanks, Carl.
this is Jeff Garcia from Locked On Spurs and Ken's 5.
Yeah,
Are the
this
guys
is
coming
Brown
back?
Jeff.
Are the guys
not a redhead Jeff?
Exactly.
Brown Jeff.
Are the guys coming back? Is DeJounte coming back? Derek White coming back? I mean, is any of this serious, or was it just rest?
It was just rest. I think the NBA has like a rule where they cannot put so many guys on the rest chart there. So yeah, I mean I would not be surprised to see them all back tomorrow. But hey, they're gonna need them, man. They got the Warriors. Who they also got? Man, they got a tough stretch now.
Oh yeah, they got the Warriors, Miami on Thursday, Houston on Friday, and then we've got the rodeo road trip thereafter. A lot of road games after that. So if you're gonna if you want to watch the Spurs play sometime in the next few weeks, you got to do it this week. Again, Warriors on Tuesday. Come out and play. Heat on Thursday, Rockets on Friday. Dude, they play the Rockets like every other day. It's so weird. Like we've been playing the Rockets like every other week for like the last 2 months.
The Orlando Magic at the beginning of the season? I felt like they were playing the Magic every day.
So hey, trade deadlines in 10 days, man. Anything?
Yeah.
What do you predict? Anything?
I mean, aside from the obvious bad, I mean, likely to be gone. How crazy are you going to be, Jimenez, if he gets bought out, gets waived? I mean, my goodness, that would be so typical Spurs. Not getting anything, just something for him. Wouldn't be surprised though to hear teams' names like, obviously Phoenix pop up, maybe Milwaukee. Wouldn't even be surprised to hear the Bucks interested in bad services.
It's almost like the Spurs have like their favorite teams to go to: Indiana, Denver. Boston.
Yeah. New York will always be at the bottom of that list. The Spurs and New York Knicks, they don't like each other, the front office. But yeah, I mean, I think it'll be another quiet, period for the Spurs ahead of the trade deadline. Just for them to make a major shakeup, like to trade a Derek White or, to trade, I'm making this up, a Devin Vassell. That would not behoove them right now. And I expect them to be active maybe in the offseason ahead of the draft, draft lottery, see what they get. There, I'll expect them to be really active in the offseason. All that money they got, sure. But yeah, with this core they're trying to develop right now, likely to see anything major happen to the same. Unless a Toronto, as we've seen before in major reports, outlets say that, they want Jakob Poeltl so bad. If it's a deal that bowls them over, yeah, you pull the trigger. But another quiet day for the Spurs there, Jimenez.
We have 1 minute left in this segment, but last week I didn't get a chance to ask you this question because we talked about how I'm reviewing the Warriors.
Yeah.
On Wednesday at 1:30. Last week I did what was that movie? Not Urban Cowboy. There you go.
Yeah.
Team Sissy versus Team Pam. I forgot to ask you, why are you Team Pam? Because I'm Team Sissy.
So obvious. And by the way, this is for Rudy real fast. Rudy J there. It doesn't make you superficial. It doesn't make you at all superficial if you chose Pam. I mean, where do I begin? Who had the less toxic relationship with Bud? Pam. Who didn't resort to violence in their relationship? Oh, Pam and Bud. Who was all about hitting and screaming and punching each other and getting into fights? It was Team Sissy. They got everybody involved. He got Bud in bad situations. Who openly flirted with another man, giving him goo eyes when they went out on a date? Sissy. Pam never did.
No, but Pam was perfectly fine hooking up with a married guy.
Hey, because they're adults.
But the same night of the googly eyes. It's so fun.
This is that. If you go to the movie, that was days before the breakup.
Okay.
It was at the diner. One more thing too. He was a changed man already. He took steps to be a better man with Pam. I think Pam brought out the good in Bud since he brought out the bad in Bud.
But at the end of the day, at the end of the movie, Pam says, Bud, I don't even love you. And that's it right there.
You know what? I'm gonna tell you right now. He's having a talk. Bud is having a talk right now with his grandkids, saying, "Let me tell you about the time I messed up and I should have gone with this girl, this great woman from Houston." I think that's what's happening right now.
Who didn't love me? The Warriors again is
Bud's the one that got away.
That is true. Yes, he's stalking her Facebook and her Instagram right now. But that is Jeff Garcia, the brown Jeff, not the redheaded Jeff. That's the sexist, not the sexist one from the 49ers.
San Antonio, I had nothing to do with that.
You were trending for a moment there, but that is the good guy, Jeff Garcia from Locked On Spurs and Ken's 5. Follow him on Spotify. Follow him wherever you get your podcasts and on Twitter.
Is on today. Jimenez is on today.
That's right.
Yeah. By the way, I know you got to go and you're up against it, but Carl's coming out. He promised me he's doing some stand-up on Locked On Spurs.
Nice. Yeah, he was practicing on me the other day. He was giving me like a few of his jokes. It's interesting. It's interesting. I don't expect that kind of comedy from him. He's surprising.
Apparently, he's very edgy too. I didn't know that about it. All right, guys. I'll see y'all later.
Hey, when we come back, I don't know if you saw this, but there was a lot of football and the Spurs were out there playing. But man, a 5.5-hour tennis match at the Australian Open. Rafael Nadal wins his 21st major. That is a record for men's. Is he the GOAT now? Is he the GOAT? And now Kanye West is having some issues in Australia too. We'll be talking about that on the other side. This is Halftime on San Antonio Sports Star.
It's heart-stopping, rim-wrecking, ball-arching action.
Ball three, got it!
College hoops are happening, and we've got the action and excitement you love. San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN 1250 and 94.5 FM.
I'm James Pudger, and in the NFL, Super Bowl 56 at SoFi Stadium is set as the Cincinnati Bengals came back from 18 down at the half to knock off the Chiefs at Arrowhead 27-24, and they'll face the Rams, who overcame a 17-7 deficit to beat the San Francisco 49ers 20-17. It's the second straight year a team hosting the Super Bowl will be appearing in it, as the Rams will look to do what the Tampa Bay Bucks did and win one in their home stadium in a few weeks here on February 13th. In the NBA, the San Antonio Spurs were shorthanded as they fell to the Suns 115-110 without DeJounte Murray, Derek White, or Jakob Poeltl. Doug McDermott led the way with 24 points in the loss as he went 6-9 from three. Lonnie Walker had 22 off the bench, while rookie Josh Primo added 13. I'm James Pledger for San Antonio Sports Star.
Not all pizza places are the same. Mellow Mushroom originated hand-tossed, stone-baked classic Southern pizza. Not in the mood for pizza? Order a calzone, hoagie, sandwich, burger, or a mellow salad and see how care goes into every item on the menu. Take your pick from 24 draft beers and or handcrafted cocktails. And many of the pizzas can be made gluten-free or vegan. Mellow Mushroom is at 1604 in Stone Oak Parkway. Hang with friends, watch the game, and mellow out at Mellow Mushroom.
I need postcards printed and designed. Oh, and a targeted direct mail campaign.
It's possible at Staples.
I need my presentation printed, bound, and perfect.
Also possible with Staples Print Big Promise. Your small business marketing will make a big impact. And right now, get 20% off custom printed signs, banners, and posters when you spend $75 or more. Explore what's new at Staples, the working and learning store. Ends 2/26. Visit staples.com/signage for details.
Diamonds Direct makes it easy to go over the top this Valentine's with an expanded selection of the most romantic gifts, special designer trunk shows, and the return of our most popular offer ever, 5 years, 0 interest financing. Now through Valentine's Day, we've teamed up with the nation's most sought-after designers with a spectacular selection of affordable and timeless gifts. And with 5 years, 0 interest financing, you can go big. How about a $3,000 pair of diamond stud earrings and you pay $50 a month, or a $4,000 diamond tennis bracelet for just $67 a month. It's a fact. Jewelry is the #1 gift for Valentine's, and Diamonds Direct is the #1 destination. We'll help you find the ideal gift at the best price, and you can spread your payments over 5 years with 0 interest. Visit us in-store now or shop online for some great romantic gift ideas at diamondsdirect.com. Diamonds Direct, your love, our passion. On approved credit.
If you get arrested, get out of jail fast by calling AA Best Bail Bonds 210-225-2121. Text bail to 474747 or online at mybestbailbonds.com. You don't have to call attorneys or anybody else. Don't be forced into a PR bond. If the jail offers you one, make sure you understand the conditions before accepting it. AA Best Bail Bonds. Nobody beats their price. They have payment plans. Call 210-225-2121 or mybestbailbonds.com.
License number 149. If you're a guy over 30 and feeling frustrated about your health, listen up. Not feeling yourself lately? Are work and relationships getting you down? Do you feel a lack of energy and focus on the things that matter to you most? All men around age 30 have the potential for their testosterone levels to decline naturally. When that happens, life can feel out of control. If that's you, then it's time to rethink your health with Synergenics Testosterone Replacement Therapy. For more info and to schedule an appointment, head over to 800lowt.com today and get your life back.
Rob Thompson and Rudy J. Don't rush. It's R&R in the morning. Tomorrow morning at 7, San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN 1250 and 94.5 FM.
This is Joe Reinagle. Drive home with Jason Minix and me today at 4, ESPN 1250 and 94.5 FM.
Welcome back to halftime. The hypocrites here. Michael Jimenez, your host from 12 to 2.
It's the acquired hypocrite.
The acquired hypocrite. I like that. I'm the acquired taste. I'm a sports fan hypocrite. We'll get into that in the 1 o'clock hour. Welcome back to the show. Hey, history was made over the weekend in Melbourne, Australia. Rafael Nadal won the Australian Open for the second time in his career. His 21st Grand Slam. That is a record for men's tennis. He had a three-way tie there, man. It was Novak Djokovic, Roger Federer, and Rafael Nadal. They all three had 20 Grand Slams. Nadal won his 21st, a 5-set thriller. Going to be honest with you, only watched the last set because I woke up around 6 in the morning and it was on, but apparently it was 5.5 hours long. He came back to win that, beat Daniil Medvedev rather. Oh man, it's interesting because this is Rafael Nadal now has 2 career slams. Okay, so he's won every Grand Slam at least twice. Novak Djokovic was the only other player to have done that. But speaking of Djokovic, to me, it's kind of a difficult win for me, Pledge, because Novak Djokovic was not allowed to play in this tournament because of his vaccination status. He got deported from Australia a week before the tournament started. Djokovic was ranked number 1 and was the heavy favorite to win that tournament. But without him there, Rafael Nadal said, hey, let's not talk about him anymore. Let's just play this tournament. And Nadal, who has battled a lot of injuries in his career, including some very recent, went out there and played like a champ, man. He went out there and came from behind, was down 2 sets to love, won in 5 sets, 7-5 in the 5th. And Medvedev, after the match, was talking about Nadal saying, man, I was just hoping that you would get tired. Like, don't you ever get tired. Nadal looked like he could have played 8 hours, but it's very interesting. And Pledge, I mean, in thinking about this, is it a hollow victory if the number 1 player got deported a week before?
Why is it hollow?
Well, because, the best player, your best competitor was not there.
Is it a hollow victory when there's an upset early in the tournament and the best player doesn't make it to the finals?
No, because they played. They actually got the opportunity to
Did
play.
the best player in the world know the rules going into Australia?
Possibly, but he also had a waiver from the Australian government at first. That waiver then got declined. So he didn't just show up to Australia hoping to play. He
may
got a
not be
pass.
able to play in the French.
Yeah.
Do we take away from that?
Well, you know what? Nadal's gonna be the favorite of that because Nadal always wins the French Open. It just depends on the surface, man. Nadal is really good on that. Really good on clay surfaces. When it comes to hard court, that's Djokovic. That is Federer. Federer's more on grass. But man, to me, I mean, it is a record 21 that's to be celebrated. But to me, it's a little bit hollow because I would love to. Can you imagine?
He's won the Grand Slam twice, right?
Yes, and he hadn't won it in 13 years.
I understand. But the fact that he did it and his age in tennis years, he's like 100.
Yeah, I mean, I think he won it first time at 22, then this time at 35. which is amazing. But it would have been fantastic to have had a finals between Nadal and Djokovic, where they're both going for 21.
Would have been great to have a Mahomes Brady Super Bowl. We didn't get it.
Oh no. It's great because Burrow's there. Burrow's my boy.
See,
I love
you
it.
just didn't
I
like the
love
fact that
Burrow.
Joker wasn't there, so that's why you're slighting him.
Okay, well, another person who's up in the air when it comes to Australia is Kanye West.
Ooh,
famous rapper there, right? Kanye West
he just
is.
sold a tank.
I heard about that.
$500,000.
He wants to play a concert in Australia in March.
Nice.
New album coming out. And Australian government saying, you need to be fully vaccinated to come here.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think he'll be able to skirt by the rules? Because he's been vaccinated once, reportedly, but not twice.
Well, was the once the J&J?
I don't know.
Because that makes sense if he was only vaccinated once when he got the J&J.
The way that I read the article, it made it sound like it wasn't J&J because they were saying not fully vaccinated.
But here's the thing. A lot of people, I don't know many people that are on the fence about vaccinations that get one and then opt out. The people that get one are usually the ones that get the J&J. Now, the one he's, in terms of fully vaxxed, he may not have a booster, and that may be the issue.
Yeah, so no, it's not the booster. That's not the way I read it. I read it that he didn't get the second of the shots. So you're half partially vaccinated, full vaccination. Full vaccination would be one J&J or two Moderna or two Pfizers, right? And then or two AstraZenecas. That's a great name, by the way. I love AstraZeneca. It's like so futuristic. It's amazing. But hey, I'm pretty excited. Do you know we have an
That
Oscar
should be the
winner?
name of Kanye's next album.
AstraZeneca. We have an Oscar winner who's going to be on our show at 1:30.
Nice.
Ed Cunningham's going to talk to us about sports. Former NFL player. He has produced things like 30 for 30 on ESPN. He knows a lot. So we'll be talking lots of sports with him at 1:30. And when we come back, Pledge is gonna tell me exactly why I'm a sports hypocrite. We'll talk more about the upcoming Super Bowl. But
You don't know?
No, break it down for me here. And also, I need some help from the viewers and listeners out there. Where should I take my wife for a 10-year anniversary? Because it's coming up in 4 weeks. This is Halftime on San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN AM 1250. I'm going to go ahead and say it now. As of tomorrow, 103.3 FM on the Go Ahead station.
Omicron has caused games to be postponed, stopped, and rescheduled. The NBA, NHL, NFL, and college hoops have all been affected by Omicron, leaving us fans high and dry.
It's unfortunate to say the least. You don't know one day to the next what's going to happen.
Will the leagues continue to shut down players and play? Stay connected and talk about it here.
We'll hate masks, so we'll see how that goes.
San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN 1250 and 94.5 FM.
Are you thinking about selling your car? Don't get tricked with 2-minute offers only to spend 4 hours at a dealership. I want you to check out my friends at Car Zeus. It's Rudy J here. Car Zeus is not a dealership, so you don't need to worry about shady sales tactics just to lure you in the door. I'm talking about saving you time and hassle. Simply fill out a form about your car's condition at carzeus.com, and a local agent will text you an offer during business hours. No obligation. Plus, they pay the same day and even provide a courtesy Lyft ride home. That's carzeus.com.
Now an important message from Exergen. A critical new FDA study proves that the widely used non-contact thermometers are not accurate and have high probabilities for false negative readings. New COVID strands are on the rise, and non-contact manufacturers are being irresponsible at a time when accuracy matters most. Accurate temperature measurements are essential. Don't wait. Switch to Exergen because they are accurate and backed by over 100 clinical studies. Be sure, be accurate with Exergen. Learn more at Exergen.com.
70% of the Fortune 100 choose Zoom. With phone, chat, workspaces, apps, events, and video in a single platform, Zoom powers all your communications. Large enterprises, small businesses, and individuals use the secure Zoom platform to enable new ways of working, learning, hosting events, and supporting their customers. And now you can save 15% on meetings, chat, and phone with the Zoom United bundle. Visit zoom.com/bundle. Zoom, how the world connects.
There's never any FOMO with the iHeartRadio app. You won't ever have to miss out on your favorite shows and contests with this radio station again. Radio 24/7, 365. We're here when you want us. Stay connected and listen anywhere when you download the free iHeartRadio app.
Listen to this station anytime, anywhere on Odyssey. Odyssey is your new audio home for all the music, news, sports, and podcasts that matter to you. Odyssey. That's AUDACY.
1911 Cigars is the premier cigar lounge in South Texas, providing quality, affordable cigars in a professional, inviting environment with a large covered patio with TVs. A BYOB establishment, 1911 Cigars strives to allow the avid cigar connoisseur a comfortable place to relax, socialize, network, and of course enjoy a great cigar. 1911 Cigars is available for private events and has private cabanas with TVs, fire pits, and heaters. 1911 Cigars at 207 South Main Street in Cibolo. Online at 1911cigars.com.
The Roo Pub is the best place to watch a game. Football, basketball, the big fights, they have them on at the Roo on their 3 massive 170-inch laser screens and TVs all around. Come hungry, the food is fantastic, and the kitchen is open until 2 a.m. every day with the full menu available. The Roo Pub has the best darts area in town, indoor cornhole and weekday happy hour from 11 to 6. For lunch, dinner, or late at night, and the best place to watch a game, get into the Roo Pub at 281 in Redmond Road. We'll see you at the Roo. Injuries happen, so if you twist, pull, pop, or snap something, you need Dr. David Espinosa at TSAOG Orthopedics. Dr. Espinosa treats all non-surgical orthopedic injuries and has same-day and next-day availability. Telemedicine services are also available. There is no reason to be in pain. If you are hurting, visit Dr. David Espinosa at TSAOG Orthopedics. Learn more at TSAOG.com. That's TSAOG.com, or schedule your appointment by calling 210-804-5490.
From the QC Kinetic Studio.
One team, one mission. KZDC, San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN, AM 1250 and 94.5 FM. Michael Jimenez.
Halftime.
It's hour number 2 of halftime on San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN AM 1250 and 94.5 FM. Tomorrow we're moving to 103.3 FM. On the go at sasportstar.com. We're live on Facebook and YouTube. You can watch along and leave a comment. We're going till 2 o'clock. We are sports, pop culture, and nostalgia. Hey, Pledge, I asked for a vacation day later on this month. February 25th. I think it got approved.
Slacker.
I know. But you know what? I have to. 10-year anniversary with my wife, Selena. Can't believe it's been 10 years.
So what are you doing?
That's the thing, man. We've been debating this for like the better part of about 2 months. Originally, we wanted to go someplace. Boteo Franklin says, take her to Hooters. She does not like Hooters. She likes Twin Peaks. I'm being honest. She loves eating at Twin Peaks. Very nice. No, but the thing is that we were saying that we were going to do something international. We went and got our passports. You know, we went and sat in line downtown. Got the photos taken. Passports came in the mail about a month and a half ago. We're like, you know what? Let's go ahead and get this going. Jamaica, Bermuda, just something. And when it all came down to it, the whole COVID Omicron variant came around, and it just kind of put a damper on all of that.
You're basically scared of being kept out of the country for an extra 5 to 7 days.
Exactly. That's exactly what my wife is saying.
You're afraid of popping positive the day you come home and being stuck for like an extra week in paradise.
That's exactly what it is. So I told her, I said, she's like, let's just do something here around town, right? But we do that all the time. We always go to like Wimberley or Dripping Springs or someplace like that, get a cottage or a cabin out there and go out there for a few days. That's what we always do for like our anniversaries and stuff.
I mean, you should do that. Like go to Wimberley. They've got this cool zip line place out there.
I heard about that, but it's February 25th. It might be 20 degrees. I don't want to zip line in 20-degree weather. It's going to get cold later on this week, for crying out loud. So last night in bed, I looked at my wife and I said, babe, just pick a city, just any city in the United States. We'll go for 3 days. And after about 2 hours, I looked over like, did you pick a city? Did you Ronald Schmidtka on Facebook Live says, go to Vegas with her, not your friends. We go to Vegas together from time to time. But that's not a romantic place. So I was thinking,
It's not?
No, Vegas is not romantic.
The shows? The dinners?
Uh,
The activities?
I mean, there's a lot to be done there.
You just aren't aware of how much stuff there is to do outside of the casino. Because when you go, you don't leave.
Yeah, the sports books aren't very romantic. I've gone karaoke there a couple of times, but that's about it. It's so funny. My wife, whenever my friends and I went out to Vegas, I go with my friends probably about once a year or once every other year. And there was a time when she called me and she goes, "Hey, Michael, what are you doing? Y'all being crazy today?" And I'm like, "No, we're at the Neon Light Museum." Calls me 2 hours later. "You guys drunk now?" Like, "No, we're at the Mob Museum." And then later on that night, we were at the Pawn Stars, uh, what's it called, location. And she was like, "What are y'all doing over there?" Like, "We're old, man. I mean, we got up and went for a 4-mile walk before the day started. That's just the way that we roll now. It used to be in our early 20s. We'd go out there and have a great time, be trashed within an hour and a half of putting our bags in the hotel room. And not anymore, man. I mean, I'll do it one night, which is funny because like next week, Pledge, you'll be hosting halftime next week with Carl. And so me and the fellas, me, Rob, and Ryan Eagle and Minix, we're going to LA for the Super Bowl week. And yeah, man, I'm just not a party guy anymore, dude. I think I'm retiring from that. Do you believe me at all, Pledge?
Not at all.
I mean, it's been a while since you and I have gone to the Roo together.
It has, but that is more of me being a good friend and knowing that you are laying off of like brown booze for a little bit.
Yeah, it's been 2 months since I've had liquor. I mean, I've had beer.
You're going to die in LA. You are going to a Super Bowl in Los Angeles with Minix. You are not coming home.
I like how you said.
Pot.
I like how you said with Minix. Yeah. Out of all the people there, the one that you think is the biggest instigator is Minix.
He is absolutely the biggest instigator. And here's the thing about Minix that I think Rudy found this out in New York. Minix will try and keep you out until you're a hindrance. Once you've become a hindrance, it's time for you to go home.
And he'll keep saying, he'll
keep going. But as long as you're still fun, he's going to try and keep you out as long as possible.
It's funny because I bet you all the listeners think that you're the biggest party animal here. It's probably Minix.
We're
1 and 1A.
We're right there together. That's why we get along well.
Okay, will I at least look good out there? Because I've already asked you to take me shopping. This is the plan Saturday morning, right? So you'll find us at North Star Mall, going out and about because I need new outfits for this trip. I'm going to be in LA for a week. I need to look good. So Pledger says that I'm going to get a scarf, you said, and a jacket and a sports coat.
I want to get you a scarf because looking at the weather forecast, it's going to be
a little
50s,
chilly.
A little chilly.
Yeah.
Especially at night in the desert out there. And it's not, warm, right? So I want to get you like a nice pair of slacks, get you a nice jacket to wear with it, maybe a sport coat.
Yep.
Good tie or a good scarf. I'm going to teach you a couple of different ways to tie a scarf. So there's multiple functions on it that can make it accessorize with different outfits even better.
Can we go to the food court at some point?
Absolutely.
That's what I'm talking about.
What's the point of going to the mall if we aren't going to the food court?
You were pointing out that they serve alcohol now at malls. I did not know that.
No, they've always sold alcohol at malls.
Okay, so I didn't know prior to all this because I was too young.
You got to find the place in the food court that sells the alcohol.
Interesting. Welcome back to Halftime on San Antonio Sports Star. I mentioned earlier that we are moving to 103.3 beginning tomorrow. Pledge, in the last hour, you referred to me as a flip-flopper. You called me a sports fan hypocrite.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm taking a little bit of offense to this. Can you explain yourself here? And it was so disappointing. Jeff Garcia from Locked On Spurs on that one Devin Booker play that I thought for sure he would go off on. I thought for sure he'd be like, man, that was a terrible non-call. was like, yeah, they had other chances.
They did.
I know they had other chances, but the thing is that Phoenix got an extra chance that they should never have had.
Yes, and
that
throughout
was
the course of a
problem.
game, lots of teams get extra chances they shouldn't have from fouls that shouldn't have been called
this is
should have been
this
called.
is the same thing like the overtime rules in football. Just play defense, man. You don't you want your quarterback to go out there, you lose the toss, play defense,
Yes.
hold them to a field goal.
Yes.
Okay, at least I agree with you on that. But you were saying earlier that I was a hypocrite because I wanted the Spurs to win last night.
Yes.
You do know I'm a Spurs fan, right?
Yes.
Okay.
But you have been an advocate for as many ping pong balls as possible.
I have been
season long.
But those who listen to halftime know that I keep saying that if Primo is out there leading the Spurs to victory,
yes,
or Trey Jones,
yes,
or DeJounte, if the young guys are out there doing it, I'm okay with them winning together, man. Especially on the road against a really solid team like Phoenix, who they seem to match up well with this year anyway.
Well, here's the thing. You got the best of both worlds. You got all the minutes from all the people you wanted to see. They had a chance at the end, and they still lost. It should be a win-win-win. It should be a triple box checker for you.
That's so sad. That's where we become as Spurs fans. Okay, I am
Patrick Mahomes. You're so arrogant. Why can't you just throw it away? Oh my God! Did you see that play Patrick Mahomes just made, where he scrambled around and ran backwards 50 yards and threw it 70 downfield for a touchdown?
Yeah, any of that happened with 5 seconds to go in a half of an AFC championship game? No. Point me. Give me a highlight of him doing that at a situation like that. That was that urgent. No, man. That was arrogance. That was complete arrogance.
They are, man.
So then
that's who they've always been. It's like expecting the Cowboys to not commit fouls in the playoffs, even though they committed fouls all year long.
Speaking of the Cowboys, a lot of people got pissed off.
There's the other hypocritical part. Oh, the Cowboys are going to the Super Bowl.
I never said they were going to the Super Bowl. I thought it was lined up perfectly for them to go to the NFC Championship game, and they wet the bed. But as I've mentioned many, many times, I was a big-time Cowboy hater for about 20 some odd years. And once it got close to 25 years since them having no appearances in the NFC Championship game, much less the Super Bowl, I kind of just felt sorry for them. But yesterday, watching these games, I made a post on Twitter that confused people, that basically said, thank you, Ronald Schmidt on Facebook, calling me acquired arrogance. I made mention to the point after the Bengals beat the Chiefs that the Super Bowl champion will either have Joe Burrow, Matthew Stafford, or Jimmy G as the winning quarterback, and how that has to frustrate Cowboys fans.
Why?
And Cowboy fans, well, dude, it's funny because you're not a Cowboy fan, so you're going, why? I told that to Rob Thompson. Rob Thompson was like, dude, that infuriates me.
Why?
Because it shows how far away the Cowboys are from being Super Bowl contenders.
No, but Mike McCarthy's there. They're fine.
Oh, I know. McCarthy. Yeah, everyone's coming back. Let's run it back the way that it was.
They're going to run it back.
The way that it was. Let's make no changes.
I mean, McCarthy told us all season he planned on addressing the issues that plagued them.
Yeah, and do nothing about it. So they address nothing.
It's off season. They're going to address those things again.
Yeah, that's what practice is for. 2 days. Come buy some more T-shirts. Buy some caps. No, but it's interesting because the Cincinnati Bengals were 4-11-1 last year, and the year before that were 2-14. It's the most dramatic 2-year turnaround ever to reach the Super Bowl, and for the Cowboys to, I don't know, man. The Cowboys are just slightly above average, but not breaking that plateau for some reason.
Number one offense in the NFL, Mike.
Miguel Figueroa on Facebook says, nothing makes me happier than when I see the Spurs lose. We need a top draft pick. I'm with Mike.
No, you're not with Mike. You're with me. Mike is flip-flopping to the other side of this coin now.
No, baby, no. Okay, first of all, we need enough wins for Pop to get the record and get out. Okay, we need that. If he falls one game short and comes back out of spite like Tom Brady next year, I'd be upset with that. But the Bengals are playing for Harambe.
Oh yeah,
very nice. Was that Boteo who said that?
That was Mateo.
Very nice. But man, it's just one of those things where you take a look at the Cowboys, and I just thought about it. I was like, how disappointing is it for them to see a team like the Bengals go from last to first and make it to not only to the AFC Championship game, but to make it to the Super Bowl? How frustrating is it to see a quarterback like Jimmy G, who is below average? I'm not going to say he's awful, but he's below average, for him to do that. Hey, the Kielbasa Bacon phone lines are open at 656 ESPN. Again, 656 ESPN if you want to talk about any of this. Spurs, Cowboys.
I wanna rattle off some stats for you.
Bring them on.
So player one has 4,449 yards, 37 touchdowns, 10 interceptions, and a 103 passer rating, averaging 7.5 yards per pass. Player two has 4,200 yards, 33 touchdowns, 7 interceptions, a 103 quarterback rating, and also averages 7.5 yards per game.
So they're the same player.
Basically, who do you think those two players are?
I'm going to assume one is Dak Prescott.
Ding, ding, ding.
Tell me number two.
Number two would be one Kirkery Cousins.
Is it really Kirkery?
No.
Kirkery Cousins. I like it. Let's just go with it. No, and it's just so weird because,
and you're wearing your purple shirt, so.
Yeah. I'm taking a look at this game, at yesterday's game, and how it relates to the Cowboys, because it doesn't relate to the Cowboys at all. But just taking a look at it from the outside, a far 30,000-foot view, it's got to be disappointing to see the Niners somehow get close, and the Rams go from being irrelevant to getting a quarterback and suddenly making the Super Bowl, going all in. They made the moves necessary to make the Super Bowl. They didn't want to have a big window. They wanted a small window to get in there, and they got in there. And then looking at the Bengals, who built through the draft, who bottomed out, came back, drafted Burrow, drafted Jamar Chase. It's beautiful watching what the Bengals have done, because they play as a team, and they believed in each other. Weird thing about the Niners yesterday, the Niners were fighting in each other on the sidelines, like getting into altercations, and they were winning. That was dysfunctional right there. But the Bengals, though, I read that Joe Burrow was an all first team basketball player in high school, and that his grandmother scored 81 points in a game, I believe, in college.
Yep.
And that his uncle played in the NFL, and his dad played in the NFL, coached in college and the NFL, and he had a brother who played, and all of these different family members, and that he was brought up in this. But the weird thing is that all his family played defense, and he was the only offensive player. But man, that guy, I'm sorry, he's a winner.
Yeah.
And it's so weird.
You're not going to find me saying anything cross about Joe Cool.
It's so weird hearing the rumors that Tom Brady retired, and it was like all that swag just got moved over to Cincinnati. It went from Tampa, like Brady just exhausted it all and said, if he did retire. But that would be something that's interesting about, like, if Brady should come back, because these young guys out there's so many quarterbacks there in the AFC that I know that Brady would be coming back for the NFC, which would make it easier. But in the AFC, take a look at what's going on over there. I mean, the renaissance of quarterbacks, from Mahomes to Josh Allen to Lamar Jackson to Justin Herbert.
Didn't make the playoffs.
To Justin Herbert, to Joe Burrow, even Tannehill. I mean, Tannehill does what Tannehill does.
No.
But what I'm saying is that he's not a bad quarterback. He's not a good one, but he's not like awful. But you have some interesting teams going on over there. It's so cool seeing the guard change, because for so long it was Breeze, and it was Roethlisberger, and it was Rivers, and Brady, and Peyton, and Eli, and all that's gone. I mean, for the most part, it's gone, other than Aaron Rodgers and possibly Tom Brady sticking around for one more year, but that's yet to be determined. But in the NFC, though, there's really not much of anything. I mean, you got Dak, you got Matthew Stafford, you got Kyler Murray. I really don't see Russell Wilson being elite anymore, at least not for the team that he plays for now. It's going to be harder to get through the AFC over the course of the next 5 to 10 years. The NFC is going to be easier to get through.
The NFC is going to be something to monitor because there are young ones that are up and coming that we're just not sure about yet, whether it's Justin Fields,
Trey Lance.
Now,
where do you go for the
jury's
Niners?
out on that.
Where do you go for the Niners next year? Trey Lance or Jimmy G?
Oh, it's definitely Trey Lance. You don't give up 3 first-round picks.
Yeah, that's the weird thing. Jimmy G's out there.
Jimmy knew this was his last year.
Yeah. And it's so sad. He almost led them to the Super Bowl. He almost did. And they were gonna toss him aside.
He did lead them to one.
Yeah, he did a few years back.
The problem is with Jimmy G, it's not so much he's leading them as much as he's just kind of riding along.
But he did good yesterday, though. He did fine.
He played okay.
Elijah Mitchell's good, man.
It's like Tannehill. He's
game manager.
Okay,
He's a game manager.
but I don't trust him to go win me the game.
Elijah Mitchell, that guy is super good.
You got Elijah Mitchell, you've got Kittle, you've got Deebo Samuel, you've got Nick Bosa, you've got Armstead.
Sermon when he comes back from injury.
Not sure Sermon's ever going to play. That's Elijah Mitchell's job as far as I'm concerned.
I know,
for the foreseeable future.
It can be a two-headed back, or a two-headed monster type of thing.
But that's the thing. Sermon wasn't even getting touches when he was healthy.
What did you think about Micah Parsons coming out and saying that Cooper Kupp was the best player in the NFL?
Remember, Mostert got the touches ahead of him.
Yeah. Micah Parsons yesterday was. I love that Micah Parsons tweets out what he's thinking and talking about how great Cooper Kupp is, and he's called him one of the best players in the NFL. Cooper Kupp is fascinating because he's always open. They find a way to get it, whether it's 10 yards down the field, 20 yards down the field, or they just get him in the flat or wide receiver screens. He's always they somehow get him the ball.
It is a brilliant mix of scheme and route running.
Agreed.
Because his ability to run routes at the top of all of his routes, it looks so similar. It is incredible how deceptive he is at the top of his route, which allows him the ability to get open on one-on-one coverage as easy as he does. But it also allows him, because of Sean McVay's schemes, to understand where he needs to be to also get open and get those matchups where he can be open, to avoid the double and triple teams that a lot of number ones have to deal with a lot of the time.
Since I won't be here next week, will you be doing movie reviews?
I can.
Interesting. Can I pick the movie?
Sure.
Or are we going to let people... You know what? You'll have to come up with 4 movies that you've never seen that everyone else has.
One of them's Avatar.
Okay.
I'll have to think on it, but
all right. We'll think of some. Headlines worth it? Yeah or nay?
I mean, we've only got like 3 minutes, so if you want to roll through them, I can go through them real quick.
Let's run through them. Here's pleasure. 411 and the 210.
Here's the 411 in the 210. Headline 2.
First up, the United States fell over the weekend 2-0 to Canada in their CONCACAF World Cup qualifier. Canada now leads the U.S. by 4 points with 4 matches to play in World Cup qualifying. Top 2 get in.
Will the U.S. ever be good at soccer? I'll never get it, man. I mean, we've been hearing this. I'm 44 years old. I remember when I was like 8, and they're like, hey, man, do you want to like not play Little League? You want to play soccer? Because, in about 15, 20 years, we're going to get really, really good. And right now we hear, hey, in about 15 or 20 years, we're going to be really good at men's soccer. It's never going to happen, man. We're a country of 350 million people. For some reason, can't find like 20 good soccer players. Never going to happen.
Green Bay Packers are cautiously optimistic that quarterback Aaron Rodgers will return in 2022 after he stayed in Green Bay for an extra few days to, quote, plot out the team's future, end quote, and meet with head coach Matt LaFleur and others, sources told NFL Network's Ian Rappaport.
Kind of weird because It's not like they don't win there. They put him in the position to be there. They got the number 1 seed. They just don't do anything with it. It's been 12 years since he won a Super Bowl. Joe Burrow's been to as many Super Bowls as Aaron Rodgers, for crying out loud. It's a weird situation over there. I hope they figure it all out. And if not, even though I don't like you personally, the hypocrite in me says I'll take you in New Orleans.
Headline 0.
Final headline. Lakers star LeBron James received an MRI on his knee that showed general swelling, and head coach Frank Vogel told reporters that James won't return into game action until that swelling dissipates. He's day-to-day and has missed 3 straight games, including last night's 129-121 loss to the Hawks. Los Angeles currently sits at 24-27, 9th in the Western Conference.
That is a bad team. I wonder if LeBron's going to sit out the All-Star game. Do you think he'll ever do that?
He's the captain.
I know.
Oh,
but
my captain.
He can still be there and, wave to the crowd and whatnot. But I mean, if he was really hurt and he really mattered to this team, he would sit it out. Give that spot to somebody named DeJounte, maybe. See what I'm doing there?
So DeJounte's a forward?
It doesn't matter, man. They don't play West versus East anymore. It is basically.
But they do match front court and back court positions.
It doesn't have to be that way. If you have like 9 front court players from the East because they deserve it, only 5 from the West, it doesn't matter because they draft them out. It's not the same. It doesn't have to be linear where it's 6-6 or 7-5. You can go crazy with it. DeJounte deserves it.
That's the 411 and a 210.
This is halftime. We go till 2 o'clock. You want to stick around because when we come back, we have a special guest, Academy Award winner and former NFL player Ed Cunningham. He'll be here to talk sports and talk about some things that he's done in the past. He's an Academy Award winner. He does a lot of filmmaking as well. This is halftime on the San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN AM 1250 and 94.5 FM.
Didn't catch R&R in the morning? Here's what you missed.
When the Cowboy season ends for you, what does it mean to Rob Thompson?
We're like morticians.
Yes.
We're around the bodies all the time.
Boom. You know what? We're like morticians. Yes, that is perfect. It's like, we're like, another dead body,
That was a little funny, but I'm used to it.
Rob Thompson, Rudy J. Weekday morning 7 to 10 on San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN 1250 and 94.5 FM.
If you suffer from chronic joint pain, don't assume that steroid shots, pain pills, and surgery are your only options. You can now get real, lasting, life-changing relief from QC Kinetics. QC Kinetics is the nation's leader in using biologic therapies to repair damaged tissue in your aching joints. The success rate is staggering. People with knee and back pain, shoulder pain, hip pain, they're moving again, enjoying life again, with help from QC Kinetics. This advanced, unique treatment protocol uses natural biologic agents, mostly from your own body. These powerful, highly concentrated growth factors are put directly into your affected joints, going to work to soothe the inflammation and restore damaged tissue. A truly regenerative treatment with no surgery, no drugs, no downtime. Finally, a new, different, highly successful approach to dealing with joint pain. Is it time you got a second opinion? Call QC Kinetics now at 210-571-0318 and wake up to a life without pain. That's 210-571-0318. Locations in Hollywood Park and Westover Hills.
I'm here at the Big Game Headquarters, Total Wine and More, stocking up for the big celebration. The perfect bourbon, local craft beer.
Forgetting something?
Oh yeah, Cabernet, seltzers.
The day after is Valentine's Day.
Whoa, new game plan.
You got this. Total Wine can help you score the perfect bubbly, too.
Thank you, I would have been.
You sure would have.
Total Wine and More. Pickup and delivery available. Drink responsibly. Be 21.
Exergen would like you to know about an important study just released by the FDA. It confirms what the medical community has known all along. Non-contact thermometers are not accurate. The study also reports that they fail to meet FDA requirements for accuracy in labeling. We can't afford to tolerate the rampant false temperature readings from non-contact thermometers. Accurate temperature measurements are essential. You need Exergen thermometers because they are accurate and backed by over 100 clinical studies. Be sure, be accurate with Exergen. Learn more at Exergen.com.
Guys, did you know that starting around age 30, men's testosterone levels can decline naturally? As a result, you may experience low energy, lack of focus, problems in the bedroom, or even depression. If that's you, then it's time to rethink your health. The solution? Testosterone replacement therapy with Synergenics. It's easy. Just take the test at one of our clinics in the San Antonio area. For more info and to schedule an appointment, head over to 800lowt.com today and get your life back.
Joel, I'm committed to getting into shape, working out, exercising every day.
Great idea, you little fat buddy.
I've invented the perfect exercise machine. It's practical, efficient, and fits in any home. I give you the Row and Go. Ta-da!
The Row and Go?
It's a rowing machine that connects to your toilet, so you can row and...
Stop. Folks, at Quarter Moon Plumbing, Heat, and AC will help homes, schools, offices, and buildings stay in tip-top shape. Every plumbing issue, every AC problem, it's our mission to fix them as fast as we can at a fair price. From the penthouse to the outhouse, call Quarter Moon 651-5899.
The Row and Go. It's going to change the way we exercise. And here's my tagline, Row and Go. It's fitness while you do your fitness.
Make it stop.
Quarter Moon Plumbing and AC, 651-5899. That's 651-5899.
License number M13229 TACLA 000743458.
Take a break from the hustle. This is Halftime with Michael Jimenez on San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN 1250 and 94.5 FM.
Welcome back to Halftime on San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN AM 1250 and 94.5 FM. A reminder, we're moving to 103.3 tomorrow. My name's Michael Jimenez, joined with James Pledger. We do sports, pop culture, and nostalgia. Very excited. We have a guest, a special guest today, Ed Cunningham. He played in the NFL for 5 seasons for the Cardinals and the Seahawks. He became an analyst for ESPN and won an Academy Award for Best Documentary in 2011 for Undefeated. Ed, how are you doing today?
Good, Michael. How are you?
You know, with that type of resume, how do you introduce yourself? I mean, what are you most proud of?
As Ed, I am Ed. The Oscar is hard to beat. We won a national championship when I was at the University of Washington.
Yeah.
Before I went into the NFL, and it was, my senior year, sort of Cinderella end of career kind of season. So that's hard to beat. But the Oscar, I because I was working at ESPN, filmmaking was sort of my side hustle, and the Oscar flipped it to where becoming a producer, and why I left ESPN about 5 years ago now, a big part of that was so I could focus on producing, and really I just enjoy that side of our business. So my side hustle became my main hustle in about 2017. And a big piece of that was the Oscar, because that just changes your resume completely.
That's
in the scope of Hollywood. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a heck of a side hustle, man. If it leads to an Oscar award, I mean, where do you keep that thing?
Well, it's funny. They sort of get moved around because there were 6 people who worked on the film.
Oh.
So the directors are the ones for documentaries that get their names etched on them. So when we need them for appearances or whatever, we have to drive, and they're all kept in sort of Safeway bags, or they're not exactly prominently featured for most of us.
So what are you working on now?
Well, we just had 2 films come out. One's called By Rooker Left Hook: The Story of Chess Boxing, which I don't know if you're familiar with chess boxing, but
Dude,
it is a sport.
I YouTube that, by the way, and I recommend that people who are listening right now to YouTube chess boxing, because I did not think that was actually a thing. But can you describe it for us?
It is a mix of boxing and speed chess that was created and made professional in Germany, and then it has adherence to the sport and practitioners all over the world now. It's an international professionalized sport that mixes boxing and chess. And we made a film called By Rook or Left Hook: The Story of Chess Boxing, and it's on Apple right now, so you can check it out. It's really a terrific film.
Is the object to win the chess match or the boxing fight?
Well, you can win either way. So you win. If it goes the full rounds, they go by combined score, or you can win by knockout, or the other person, because it's timed chess, so you can run out of time as well. So they have a pretty complicated scoring system, but it's a blend of both sports.
Now, I had read somewhere that you left ESPN because you had an issue with the how the NFL was being covered and with CTE and all the different injuries that are going on. Have you kept up with the NFL this year?
I have, I since I left the NFL, I broadcasted for a little while after I left, but I haven't followed the NFL closely for a long time. Mostly, and don't take this the wrong way, I find the game kind of boring because I got so used to the college game,
Yeah.
which is so much more fast paced and diverse, and I just find it more interesting. So, I live in the LA Rams vicinity. So, the Ram fans are going crazier. So it's sort of hard to avoid.
Now, are there Ram fans? It didn't look like that in the stands, man. There's a lot of red jerseys out there cheering on the Niners. But this is Ed Cunningham, Academy Award winner, former NFL player. You mentioned that you watch a lot of, or you were an analyst for many years when it comes to college football. Taking a look at Joe Burrow and how well he did at LSU, leading them to the national title, and now just a couple of years later in the Super Bowl. What does that say to you about the type of player that he is and just how incredible he has done so early in his career?
Well, I think it's quarterbacks all over football, not just Joe. I think Joe is obviously an extraordinary example. He is, he's really good, right? There's no two ways about it. But I think, when I was coming up through high school and college, there weren't many quarterbacks that were getting the coaching and the knowledge base necessary to play in the NFL before they got there. So there was always, people talked about the learning curve, and they sort of thought, they got to be used to playing on a big stage or with, good players. But really, it was just understanding the game at a level where the game starts to slow down for you. Because if you can't slow down the game as a quarterback, you can't play the position, meaning you're so comfortable, you're just in the moment, you see everything, it becomes natural reaction to throw where you're throwing, those types of things. They come from years and years of repetition of really understanding the game. And that has trickled down in coaching now. High school quarterbacks are being taught things that NFL quarterbacks are being taught. And that just didn't happen until the last probably, 10 or 15 years probably, where you see quarterbacks, and especially a guy like Joe who played, in the SEC, you're playing at big place, you're playing Alabama, you're playing against NFL guys. So he got to see those level of athletes more than occasionally in the SEC. So for him to transition, it's not really a surprise because it's been a trend that, covering college football, seeing the complexity, what these quarterbacks do and how fast they can do it, taking calls from the sideline, the run pass option game, which is, sort of new to the NFL, but has been in college football for a long time, is pretty, it's been a trend. And he's, I think, a great example of that trend.
Now, Burrow has seen the bright lights, though, winning that national title game. So I don't think he's going to be nervous out there. I just find it fascinating just seeing him going out there and just, I mentioned earlier in the show that there's swagger, there's cockiness, and there's a little bit of arrogance in certain players. And I kind of think that if you are in the swagger side, the cocky side, you'll do well. But if you drift over to arrogance, I think that that's a bad thing. And I kind of felt that Patrick Mahomes yesterday kind of drifted into the arrogance of play yesterday.
I didn't see all of the game, but he's a supremely talented guy, and when he pushes the limit, it can go wrong, right? Yeah.
So we were talking college earlier. UT and OU are leaving the Big 12, right? Going over to the SEC. Yep. Is that a good thing or a bad thing for college football?
Well, that's a complicated answer. There is so much change going on with college sports in general, with the really consolidation of revenue, meaning the people who make a lot of money at the sport of football, which is a very expensive endeavor. The cost of coaches and staff and facilities has gone through the roof. A lot of these schools that aren't Texas and OU are really hitting some debt ceilings on improvements they've made on their stadiums and a new practice facility. So this continued sort of chase for the biggest dollars to consolidate, I think, is going to consolidate the sport in a way, and I'm talking about college football specifically, inside the college sports sort of atmosphere, sort of biosphere, if you will, I don't see how college football doesn't become sort of its own thing. And there may be some conferences, but I think it's going to become a more nationalized game where there's 25 or 30, maybe 40 schools that compete legitimately for a championship. And then anyone else who wants to play it, it becomes more of a just is not as high a profile a sport. It just becomes one of the sports on campus. And I think you'll see some schools potentially cut the sport eventually because the costs are astronomical at this point. I don't think everybody can handle it. So what does it mean for OU and Texas to leave? I think it's just a sign of where things are headed, where the sport is going to consolidate into those top 25, 30, 40 programs.
Well, we saw that the American Athletic Conference, UTSA in San Antonio, moved to the AAC because of that. The dominoes fell. And that was a good thing for UTSA. UTSA had a very interesting year because for the first time ever got ranked in the top 20. Was undefeated for the better part of the season. Had a really successful year, but you take a look at a program like that. How impressive is it in your eyes to see a team or a program be about 10 years old and go out there and suddenly become that well known in the college ranks?
Well, I had a really fantastic professional experience at UTSA back when I was at ESPN. Our boss, this guy Ed Placey, who's just a really smart, forward thinker, he had us go through a whole weekend of training with football officials. It was the Big 12's officials meeting at UTSA, or it wasn't. Big 12 was part of it, but it was like a national organization, and we went for the whole weekend at UTSA and studied officiating to help us in our broadcasting job. Well, that was the year that UTSA was jumping into Division I football. And I remember thinking, like, good luck, guys. That's a deep pool you're jumping into. But, I think they made a good hire. I believe it was Larry Coker was their first hire, and Larry had done an amazing job at Miami. So I think that's the key if you're going to build a program is who's your first hire, and can that person literally build a program, the day-to-day foundation of how you compete at that level, and they clearly did.
Before we let you go, tell us about your podcast and where we can find you, and also what else you're working on.
Yeah, it's called Let's Huddle with Ed Cunningham, and it is sort of sports specific, but we talk about life, and I interview people who've been in the business of sports media or telling stories about sports in Hollywood. It's just a deep dive interview podcast, and it's available on wherever you podcast. So you can just look up Let's Huddle with Ed Cunningham. And what I'm working on next, I've got, well, I won't spoil it too much, but I'm working on a show set in the sports world that will become a series, hopefully. I can't spoil the concept, but we're excited about it and think we'll be able to make it.
That is Ed Cunningham, former NFL player, filmmaker, Academy Award winner, podcaster, football analyst, all things, man. Ed, it was a pleasure having you on Halftime.
Great. Thanks, Michael.
Very nice. We're going to put a bow on the show on the other side. This is Halftime on San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN AM 1250 and 94.5 FM.
We're following the Bengals and Rams all the way to LA. Live all week leading up to the big game. Coverage starts Monday morning at 7. Powered by AA Best Bail Bonds and Texas Cheer Liquor. San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN 1250 and 94.5 FM.
I'm James Pledger, and the San Antonio Spurs fell to the Phoenix Suns 115-110, although they were without DeJounte Murray, Derek White, and Jakob Poeltl. Doug McDermott would lead the way for the Spurs in the loss with 24 points, going 6 of 9 from 3. They return to action tomorrow when they take on the Golden State Warriors. In the NFL, Super Bowl 56 at SoFi Stadium is set as it'll be the Bengals and the Rams. Cincinnati came back from a 21-3 halftime deficit to knock off the Chiefs at Arrowhead 27-24, while the Rams came back from down 17-7 to beat the 49ers 20-17. Finally, in college hoops, the Texas Longhorns beat 18th-ranked Tennessee 52-51, 13th-ranked Texas Tech beat Mississippi State 76-50. A&M lost their fourth straight, falling to South Carolina 74-63, while UTSA fell to Florida Atlantic 73-64. I'm James Pledger for San Antonio Sports Star.
Yes, I'm so sorry about the wait, ma'am. I'll be with you shortly. Carrie, how many appointments did we book at 2:30?
Jin's physical therapy clinic is pretty stretched.
some light stretching.
He needs another PT before patients get bent out of shape.
Can you get a fresh ice pack for Miss Davis's knee?
Indeed can help him hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Instant Match instantly connects you with quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your sponsored job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Do you have taxiety? That uncertain feeling before doing your taxes? Filing on your own or choosing the wrong partner can be stressful. Connect with Liberty Tax and then just breathe in and cash out.
Get $50 by filing before February 20th.
Go ahead, feel it.
Visit StopTaxiety.com to schedule your appointment and say farewell to the stress of tax season. Liberty Tax. Let's end taxiety. At participating locations, terms and conditions apply. See store for details.
Now an important message from Exergen. A critical new FDA study proves that the widely used non-contact thermometers are not accurate and have high probabilities for false negative readings. New COVID strands are on the rise, and non-contact manufacturers are being irresponsible at a time when accuracy matters most. Accurate temperature measurements are essential. Don't wait. Switch to Exergen because they are accurate and backed by over 100 clinical studies. Be sure, be accurate with Exergen. Learn more at Exergen.com.
Hey team, it's a full house. We got to pick up the pace.
At Hank's Restaurant, the line goes around the block.
Is this for 12? Okay, I need the truffle oil drizzle.
What he needs is another line cook.
Oh man, are the quail breasts still in the sous vide? Dave, can you keep an eye on that, please?
Indeed can help him hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Instant Match instantly connects you with quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your sponsored job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
If you get arrested, get out of jail fast by calling AA Best Bail Bonds, 210-225-2121. Text bail to 474747 or online mybestbailbonds.com. You don't have to call attorneys or anybody else. Don't be forced into a PR bond. If the jail offers you one, make sure you understand the conditions before accepting it. AA Best Bail Bonds. Nobody beats their price. They have payment plans. Call 210-225-2121 or mybestbailbonds.com.
License number 149.
If you're thinking about a compact tractor and you want the best, you can afford a Kubota. Hi, I'm John Ewald with Ewald Kubota. Come into one of our 11 locations and check out the new Kubota L2501 package deal, which includes a four-wheel drive tractor with a hydrostatic transmission, a front loader, a rear mower, a box blade, and a trailer, all for one low price. With a deal this good, you can afford a Kubota from Ewald Kubota. Check out our package specials at ewaldkubota.com.
Hi everyone, Michael Kielbasa with Kielbasa Smoked Meats here. When you bring a package of our smoked sausage home, keep it simple. It's handcrafted in small batches and fully cooked, so you can just heat it up and enjoy. My favorite way to eat it is on a bun with mustard or wrapped in a tortilla. Try some from a store near you today, and if it's not the best you've ever tasted, I'll give you your money back. Guaranteed. Find Kielbasa at a store near you today.
It's drive and determination.
Catching a right-hand dunk.
It's magic and mayhem.
Long three is good.
We've got NBA action live on San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN 1250 and 94.5 FM.
Opinions. We got them. Keep them coming. San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN, AM 1250 and 94.5 FM.
It's halftime on San Antonio Sports Star. Reminder, tomorrow we move to 103.3 FM. Again, 103.3 FM. Add it to your presets. This has been a fun show. You know, earlier we were talking about how soccer is just not going to happen. Boteo Franklin reaches out to us on Facebook and says, no, USA will never, because our best athletes choose football, not football. Joey Noriega says, U.S. soccer is like fetch. Ain't going to happen. I like that Mean Girls reference, man. Welcome back to the show, sports, pop culture, and nostalgia. Hey, fellas, if your wife, girlfriend, or significant other is asking you to watch something on Netflix, and she wants to watch a show called The Woman in the House Across the Street from the Girl in the Window, run.
It's a very long and convoluted title.
Yeah. The Woman in the House Across the Street from the Girl in the Window. Like, it's like 3-point font when they show the billboard of it all. It was the stupidest thing I have ever seen. It was ridiculously
Your wife
bad.
loved it, didn't she?
No, she joked that it was so bad that we're gonna watch season 2 if there is a season 2 because it was so bad. But it was
So she loved it.
I wouldn't go that far. I think she thought it was absurd. But Kristen Bell is in there, and I love Kristen Bell. You remember her from Forgetting Sarah Marshall. She's done a lot of different shows out there.
Married to Dak Shepard.
Married to Dak Shepard. I had a weird dream about those two a while back. I don't know if I ever told you about that.
Did you walk outside and see what was going on?
No,
afterward?
it wasn't that type of dream, and it wasn't a dirty dream either. I had a dream one time that they adopted me. I thought that was kind of strange. But no, I mean, the show was absurd. It wasn't it was like a Mystery Science Theater 3000 type of thing, and I don't think they were going for that. Was it a dark comedy? Was it a drama? Was it a comedy? Was it somewhere in between? Was it absurd? Was it real? I don't know, man, but it was bad. And I watched 7 episodes, all 7 episodes, like 2.5, 3 hours combined. It was bad. Again, do not watch that. I wonder what the Rotten Tomatoes is.
What's the
on that.
name of it again? The girl in the house across the street with the tinted windows from the guy in the corner store that owns the bodega?
Exactly. It is the woman in the house across the street from the girl in the window. Again, starring Kristen Bell. Remember her from Veronica Mars back in the day. The Good Place. I think she's Elsa in Frozen. Oh, it was so bad. It was so stupid. But I understand, Pledge, that you are now caught up on How I Met Your Father.
I am.
What are your thoughts? Because I hated the first episode. The first episode to me was awful. But second episode was fine. And I thought the third episode was pretty good.
I didn't hate the first episode. I didn't think it was awful because I'm trying to go in knowing this isn't How I Met Your Mother. It's not. But there's some nice hat tips. There's some nice homages. I like how they're not showing the kid instead of the dad. Like, remember Bob Saget?
Yeah.
Like, you never saw him, you just heard his voice. Well, you see Kim Cattrall. So that's the contrast is you see her, but not the kid she's talking to. Where in How I Met Your Mother, it was you saw the kids, but not the dad.
Hilary Duff is cute.
I like her friend.
Yeah. Okay. I see where you're going with that. Now, I don't want to put any spoilers out there, but in this last episode, there was a familiar face as a potential love interest. Should I say it?
Yeah.
Okay. It was Josh Peck,
Mm-hmm.
who, if you have kids, or maybe you grew up watching the show Drake and Josh, it's Josh. And Josh is skinny now, which is even funnier because he was a big dude. Hug me, brother. Back in those days, he was a big dude, but in this show, he's very trim, good-looking guy.
Looks okay.
Oh, he's a good-looking dude, man. He's funny. He's a great follow on TikTok.
I like the guy that got married that was the driver that owns the bar.
Oh, yeah,
When
yeah.
they went back to his apartment that he got off the Wesleyan. Did you notice?
No.
That's Ted's apartment.
Really?
Yeah.
I really wasn't into
It's got the swords on the wall, the whole nine. That's Ted's apartment.
I wasn't into How I Met Your Mother, but the father one I'm kind of getting into because again, I think Hilary Duff is adorable in that show. Wifey and I have also been watching Ozark. We went back in time. Season 4 dropped last week. I had seen 1 and 2, but my wife hadn't seen any of it. I went back in time, so I'm rewatching season 1. Cobra Kai, I'm completely caught up on. That's great. I finished Succession, but I really need something else to watch because I don't think my wife's going to really want to watch 4 whole seasons of Ozark. And you're bringing up oh wow. So you're bringing up the apartment, photos of the apartment when it comes to the fact that Ted Mosby's apartment is the same as the dude in How I Met Your Father. What did you think about Kim Cattrall doing her thing on there?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm indifferent about that.
I don't even know. Like, if I didn't know that was Kim Cattrall going in, I would have never figured that it was Kim Cattrall.
Interesting.
She doesn't look like her. Like,
no, she did not. She did not. Hey, I understand that there is someone from the San Antonio area who's going to be in the Super Bowl. Congratulations to Trey Flowers, Bengals cornerback. Went to Judson High School. So congratulations. Man, I'm super excited. I know that you called me a hypocrite earlier in this this show. Do you want to apologize now?
No, because it's still true. Why would I apologize?
Now, what am I more of a hypocrite on? The NFL or on the NBA when it comes to the Spurs?
It's 50-50, but yeah, I think more so Spurs, especially because you were so hard in the ping pong ball chase.
Dude, Primo was great last night. I absolutely adored watching him play out there, but man, he was fantastic. Again, the Spurs are going to be back in action tomorrow night. It's going to be a long time, long
It's the
season
Warriors,
for the Spurs.
baby.
I know. I know you got the Warriors, play the Rockets again. Are we going to do a bet on the Rockets Spurs game?
Sure.
Who are you taking? Do I need to give you points? They're playing in San Antonio.
No, I don't need points.
All right, we can do a
They're both bad teams.
dude.
Mine's worse, but
Yes, no. Thank you for saying that. But the Spurs played so well last night.
they did.
I was so but I didn't want them to lose that way. It's kind of like the Matrix. You know, when that girl looks up at Cypher and says, "No, not this way. I don't want to die this way." The Spurs should not have lost that way. They played very, very well. But again, tomorrow, San Antonio Sports Star moves from 94.5 to 103.3. Ryan Eagle and Minix are coming back at 4 o'clock for the Blitz. This is halftime on San Antonio Sports Star.